So y'all gonna holler and scream because every time you come to this channel, I'm adding more books for you to buy. Is that what you're saying? You gonna holler and scream? How is you supposed to find the black books that's releasing in the new year and stuff without me? What was you gonna do, cousin? What was you gonna do? And here you go hollering and screaming at me. Be mad all you want to, wench. I'm gonna tell you anyway. Hi friends, welcome back to Bookmas. I am Shelby Bonet and this is Shelby in the Book Club. And honestly, I think this is y'all's favorite video that I post every year. Let's get into some 2025 anticipated releases. I'm so excited. Before we get started, make sure you like, you comment, subscribe. I'm still on the road to 15K. I think we can do it before the new year. So do all the things and let's get into it for real this time. If you see me looking down, I'm looking at the mini girl. This is my homegirl. It's my iPad mini. Where she go, I go. Where I go, she go. Okay, this is my girl. I read on her. Okay, I take notes on her. This is my homie. So I ain't ignoring you because I'm just looking. I'm just trying to make sure I'm getting everything correct. You know, all the book covers and release dates will be on the screen somewhere, and everything will be linked down below in the underneath bar. I call it the underneath bar. Why? Because it is underneath the video. It ain't that hard, cousin. I don't know why y'all be making it difficult, but it ain't that hard. Okay, first up on the list, we have In Open Contempt, Confronting White Supremacy in Art and Public Space. This is by Irving Weathersby Jr. There's more than one of y'all. So this says, a stirring journey into the soul of a fractured America that confronts the enduring specter of white supremacy in our art, monuments, and public spaces from a captivating new literary voice. Amid the ongoing reckoning over America's history of anti-Black racism, scores of monuments to slave owners and Confederate soldiers still profoundly dot the country's landscape, while schools and street signs continue to bear the names of segregationists. With poignant lyrical prose, cultural commentator Irving Weathersby confronts the inescapable specter of white supremacy in our open spaces and contemplates what it means to bear witness to sites of lasting racial trauma. This sounds really interesting to me. It sounds like something that I'm probably going to have to do the audiobook for, because it feels like it's going to be like fact and dense heavy. But we reading diversely. I always want to read more nonfiction, especially nonfiction that expands farther than just memoirs and autobiographies. So next up we have Make Your Way Home. This is a collection of stories by Carrie R. Moore. I absolutely love this book cover. The green is like breathtaking. This comes out in July. It says, in 11 stories that span Florida marshes, North Carolina mountains, and southern metropolitan cities, Make Your Way Home follows Black men and women who grapple with the homes that have eluded them. A preteen pregnant alongside her mother refuses to let convention dictate who she names as the father of her child. Centuries after slavery separated his ancestors, a native Texan tries to win over the love of his life despite the grip of a family curse. A young deaconess who falls for a new church member wonders what it means when God stops speaking to her. And at the very end of the South, as we know it, two sisters seek to escape north to freedom, to promises of a more stable climate, artfully and precisely drawn and steeped in place in history. As it explores themes of belonging, inheritance, and deep intimacy, Carrie R. Moore's debut collection announces an extraordinary new talent in American fiction, inviting us all to examine how the past shapes our present and how our present choices will echo years to come. Y'all know how I feel about conversations about generational trauma and how it affects us now. That might have to be a book club pick, okay? That sounds good. I'm excited. Next, my man, our uncle, S.A. Cosby, King of Ashes, comes out next summer. This is Award-winning New York Times bestseller S.A. Cosby returns with King of Ashes, a Godfather-inspired Southern crime epic and dazzling family drama. Ooh. When eldest son Roman Carruthers is summoned home after his father's car accident, he finds his younger brother Dante in debt to dangerous criminals and his sister Nevaeh exhausted from holding the family and the family business together. Nevaeh and their father, who run the Carruthers crematorium in the rundown Central Virginia town of Jefferson Run, see death up and close every day. But mortality draws even closer when it becomes clear that the crash that landed their father in a coma was no accident, and Dante's recklessness has placed them in real danger. Oh, y'all can send that down to the house today. Y'all can send that to me right now. Y'all, baby, y'all know my address. Send that to me. That sounds so good. The only thing I'll say is that it has a mix of some of his other books in it. So be mindful of that. That's all I'll say. Next up, romance. You guys know I have thoroughly enjoyed the Scotland series so far from Kennedy Ryan. I love Before I Let Go. I loved This Could Be Us. And next up, in May of 2025 is Can't Get Enough. This is Hendrix's story. So it says Hendrix Barry lives a fabulous life. She has phenomenal friends, a loving family, and a thriving business that places her in the entertainment industry's rarefied air. Your vision board, she's probably living it. She's a woman with goals, dreams, ambitions, always striving upward. And in the midst of everything, she's facing her toughest challenge yet, caring for an aging parent. Who has time for romance? From her experience, there's a low ROI on relationships. She hasn't met the man who can keep up with her anyway until him. Tech mogul Maverick Bell is a dilemma wrapped in an exquisitely tailored suit and knee-melting charm from their first... Why I'm smiling already? Why I'm smiling already? I just know he gonna fold this lady up. He gonna change her life. I just know I just know. From their first charged glance at the summer's hottest party, Hendrix feels like she's met her match. Only he can't be. Mav may be the first to make her feel this seen and desired and appreciated, but he's the last one she can have. Forbidden fruit is the juiciest, and this man is off limits if she plans to stay the course she set for herself. But when Maverick gives chase, pursuing her, spoil her, understanding her, is it time to let herself have something more? I think our girl Hendrix is gonna have to just figure it out. Figure it out, baby. Figure it out. So I'm really excited to read that. I love Before I Let Go. It made me cry. This Could Be Us made me angry in places with the things she had to deal with, but I love the relationship that she got. So I'm really happy for Hendrix. And to be like rounding this series out, I'm super excited. On the romance tip, another one of my favorite romance authors, Tia Williams. She has a YA romance coming out. This also comes out in May. You guys know I don't usually go for YA, but if Tia Williams is writing it, I will. This one is called Audrey and Bash Are Just Friends. Meet Audrey, junior class president, debate team captain, unofficial student therapist, desperately in need of a good time. Meet Bash, mysterious new senior, everybody's crush, tall, floppy, great taste in jewelry, king of having a good time. It's the last day at Cheshire Prep, Brooklyn's elite academy, and Audrey Mercy Moore's life is a mess. Her dad canceled her annual summer visit to his Malibu beach house. Now she's stuck in a claustrophobic apartment with her mom, stepdad, and one-year-old sister, aka the Goblin Baby. Under these circumstances, she'll never finish writing her self-help book, i.e. The Key to Winning Over Stanford's Admissions Board. Cut to Bash Henry. Audrey hires him to be her fun consultant, his job to help her compete, to complete the experience challenge her list of 5 wild dares designed to give her juicy book material. She'll get inspo, he'll get paid, everybody wins. He isn't boyfriend material, and she's just looking for one. And she's not looking for one. Can they stay professional despite their obvious connection? I think it's going to be super cute. I think this is something, if you have teens in your life, that is probably something that y'all can read together, which I'm all for that. Read with your babies. You need to be reading with them. Next up, we have Harlem Rhapsody. This is by Victoria Christopher Murray. I read and DNF'd. So, really, I DNF'd the personal library, which she co-wrote. So I'm really curious about this one, and I hope I like it. It says, in 1919, a high school teacher from Washington, D.C. arrives in Harlem, excited to realize her lifelong dream. Jessie Redmond Fawcett has been named the literary editor of The Crisis, the first Black woman to hold this position at the Negro magazine. Jessie is poised to achieve literary greatness, but she holds a secret that jeopardizes it all. W.E.B. Du Bois, the founder of The Crisis, is not only Jessie's boss, he's her lover. And neither his wife nor their 14-year age difference can keep the two apart. This sounds very similar to, well, yeah, this sounds very similar to The Personal Librarian. But I want to read it. That sounds messy. Amidst rumors of the tumultuous affair, Jessie is determined to prove herself. She attacks the challenge of discovering young writers with fervor, finding 16-year-old Countee Cullen, 17-year-old Langston Hughes, and Nella Larson, who becomes one of her best friends. Under Jessie's leadership, The Crisis thrives. Every African-American writer in the country wants their work published there. That sounds good. That sounds real good. Okay, next we have Old School Indian. It seems like all of these books come out in May, and that means I need to be putting money aside now, because I'm going to be at the bookstore a lot. So, Old School Indian, which is written by Aaron John Curtis. I don't know where I got Carter. It says, a coming of middle-age novel about an Akwasahi man's reluctant return home and what it takes to heal. Abe Jacobs is, I can't pronounce these tribes, and I don't want to butcher them, but it says he is a Mohawk Indian, as white people say, from the St. Regis tribe. At 18, Abe left the reservation where he was raised and never looked back. Now 43, Abe is suffering from a rare disease, one his doctors in Miami believe will kill him. Running from his diagnosis and a failing marriage, Abe returns to the res, where he's convinced to undergo a healing at the hands of his great uncle Budge. But Budge, a wry recovered alcoholic prone to wearing punk t-shirts, isn't all that convincing, and Abe's time off the res has made him a thorough skeptic. To heal, Abe will undertake a journey confronting the parts of himself he's hidden ever since he left home, and learning to cultivate hope even at his darkest hour. That sounds very interesting. Very, very interesting. Next, we have Black Heart Man. This is by Nalo Hopkinson, an author that I really want to get into in 2025. It says, Vakasi, in training as a griot, hopes to sail off to examine a rare Alama book of light and thus secure a spot for himself on Chin's Colloquium of Scholars. However, unexpected events prevent that from happening. 15 Yemisen galleons arrive in the harbor to force a trade agreement on Chin. Vakosi tries to help, hoping to prove himself with a bold move, but quickly finds himself in way over his head. Bad turns to worse when forces start stirring. Pickens' children are disappearing, and an ancient invading army, long frozen into tar statues by island witches, is stirring to life, led by the fearsome demon known as Blackheart Man. Because he has problems in his polyamorous personal life too, how much trouble can a poor student take or cause all by himself, as a line between myth and history blends in this delightfully sly tale of one of the greatest novelists. Sounds good. Comes out in August. What genre is this considered? Where is the information? Folklore, dark fantasy, historical fiction too. That sounds really good. That'll probably be one of the things that I read, kind of going a little out of my comfort zone, because that reading the synopsis, it sounds good, but it's making me nervous, like I'm gonna have to read with my finger. Next up, we have A House for Miss Pauline. This comes out in February. When stones of her house begin to rattle and shift and call out mysterious messages to her in the middle of the night, Pauline Sinclair, age 99, knows she will not make it to her 100th birthday. She has lived a modest life in Mason Hall, a rural Jamaican village, educating herself with stolen books, raising her 2 children, surviving by becoming a successful ganja farmers in the area, and experience both deep passion and true loss with her beloved baby father, Clive. Behind the seemingly benign facade, however, Miss Pauline has buried many secrets. To avenge her enslaved ancestors, she has built her house stone by stone from the ruins of a plantation on her land. And she knows more than she has told about the disappearance of Turner Buchanan, a white American man who came to Mason Hall decades ago to claim her land. What if she killed him? She probably poisoned him. February. I'm gonna be reading this one bright and early in February. She probably poisoned her. The Whispering Stones, Miss Pauline realizes, are telling her that she must make peace with the past before she dies. With the help of her American granddaughter, Justine, and Lamont, a teenager she enlists to help her navigate the mysteries of the internet, she searches for those she has wronged. But as the people and the stories of her past come to invade her present, she discovers that there are shocking secrets even she could not have anticipated. That sounds like it's going to be good. I have to remember to tell Jess about that one, because that sounds like something she really loves. Next up, we have Mainland Mama. This is a memoir by Kiana Harris. Maybe it's Kiona. A powerful and wrenchingly intimate memoir about the formidable challenge of raising a family separated by prison walls and how we can fight back against a broken system. Kiona and Jason met as young teenagers. Only 14, Kiona had never had a boyfriend before, dreamed of attending Spelman to become an obstetrician, and thought she was grown. Within a year, she was pregnant and Jason was in prison, convicted of a carjacking and sentenced to 22 years. Overnight, Kiona had become a mainline mama, a parent facing the impossible task of raising a child while still growing up herself with an incarcerated partner. In this devastating and triumphant memoir, Kiona recalls her harrowing journey as a mainline mama, from learning to overcome the exhausting difficulties of navigating the carceral system in the United States to transforming herself into an advocate for other women like her, the predominantly Black and brown women left behind to pick up the pieces of their families and fractured lives. That sounds very, very interesting. When I saw the cover, I didn't realize that it said a memoir. I thought this was going to be a fiction of some sort, but to my surprise, that also comes out in February. Next, we have Black in Blues, How a Color Tells the Story of My People. I just know this gonna make me cry. Throughout history, the concept of blackness has been remarkably intertwined with another color, blue. In daily life, it is invoked in countless ways. Blue skies and blue water offer hope for that which lies beyond the current conditions, but blue is also the color of deep melancholy and heartache, echoing Louis Armstrong's questions, what did I do to be so black and blue? In this book, celebrated author Imani Perry uses the world's favorite color as a springboard for a riveting emotional, cultural, and spiritual journey, an examination of race and blackness that transcends politics or ideology. Imani Perry, I haven't read anything by Imani Perry, but I know that her other book, South to America, is raved about. So I need to get on top of that and read it very soon, because that sounds like my kind of carrying on. That sounds good. That sounds good. That comes out in February also. Let me double check. No, that actually comes out in January. So there is that. Next, we have A Mystery of Monsters. This is by Leslie Sambury. So it says Ninth House meets Legend Born, two books that I have not read. When August's brother disappears before his sophomore semester, everyone thinks the stress of college got to him, but August knows her brother would have never left her voluntarily, especially not after their mother so recently went missing. The only clue he left behind was a note telling her to stay safe and protect their remaining family. And after August is attacked by a 10-foot tall creature with fur and claws, baby, what all? She realizes that her brother might be in more danger than she could have imagined. Unfortunately for her, the only person with a connection to the mysterious creature is the bookish Virgil Hawthorne, and he knows about them because he is one. If he doesn't find a partner to help control his true nature, he'll lose his humanity and become a mindless beast. Exactly what the secret society he's grown up in would love to put down. Virgil makes a proposition. August will join his society and partner with him, and in return, he'll help her find her brother. And so August is plunged into a deadly competition to win one of the few coveted candidate spots, all while trying to accept a frightening reality. The monsters are real, and she has to learn to master them if she's to have any hope of saving her brother. This sounds so good. And this is a teen and YA fantasy, something else to read with the babies. That sounds so good, y'all. Like, so good. Next, y'all know one of my favorite books this year was Curvy Girl Summer by Danielle Allen. Absolutely loved it. We have a second book in the Curve series. This is Plus Size Player. Look at this cover. Look at this cover. Oh, I'm so excited. Nina Ford doesn't like to put all her eggs in one basket. She works multiple jobs. She enjoys multiple hobbies. She dates multiple men. I know that's right, baby. Hoe until you can't no more. In her 30 years of life, Nina has never come across a man who has all the things she's looking for. Child, me neither. I mean, what are we going to do? She loves fun and excitement, and she has a man for that. She loves confidence and humor, and she has a man for that. She loves intelligence and ambition, and she has a man for that. She loves passion and romance, and she has a man for that. And y'all motherfuckers better pick a day. She's always been content rotating a few men in and out of her life to get her needs met, but when an opportunity presents itself, Nina finds herself in a bit of a predicament, because if everything she's ever wanted in a partner collides with everything she's ever wanted in a career, her eggs are bound to get cracked, like her bag. Not a workplace romance. I can't wait. I can't wait. I cannot wait. That's gonna be so good. Maybe it'll give me a little bit of hope that one day I'll find a man too, because Baby, the dating pool got asbestos in it. Next, we have Misbehaving at the Crossroads, Essays and Writings. This is by Honore Jeffers. I don't know how to say her middle name, and I don't want to butcher it. She wrote The Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois, which I have yet to read, and she wrote The Age of Phyllis. I didn't realize she had more than... Why I thought she only had the one book. The Age of Phyllis is poetry, though. Okay, that's why I didn't pay it. No, never mind. Y'all know I don't do poetry. But this says, Honore Jeffers is at a crossroads. Traditional African Black American cultures present the crossroads as a place of simultaneous difficulty and possibility. In contemporary times, Kimberly Crenshaw coined the phrase intersectionality to explain the unique position of Black women in America. Ooh, child. In many ways, they are at a third crossroads, attempting to fit into notions of femininity and respectability primarily assigned to white women, while inventing improvisational strategies to combat oppression. In Misbehaving at the Crossroads, Jeffers explores the emotional and historical tensions in Black women's public lives and her own private life. She charts voyages of Black girlhood to womanhood and the currents buffeting these journeys, including the difficulties of racially gender oppression, the challenges of documenting Black women's ancestries, the adultification of Black girls, the irony of Black female respectability politics, the origins of womanism, Black feminism, and resistance to white supremacy and patriarchy. As Jeffers shows with empathy and wisdom, naming difficult historical truth represents both blues and transcendence, a crossroads that speaks. That sounds like it's going to be a good one. It comes out in June. Again, nonfiction. I've been wanting to read more essays anyway. I haven't read many collections of essays. I need to get better at that. Next, another author that I thoroughly enjoyed, Regina Black. This one is called August Lane. It says, a Black country music star who lied about writing his own hit risks his comeback to reunite with the woman he stole it from. A first love the lyrics won't let him forget. That sounds good. I'm sorry. It says, every Thursday night, former country music heartthrob Luke Randall has to sing another love song. It's just another sad love song, wrecking my brain like crazy. I don't know if they're no, turn up me fast or slow. God, he hates that song. But performing his lone hit at an interstate motel lounge is the only regular money he still has. Following another lackluster performance at the rock bottom of his career, Luke receives the opportunity of his dreams, opening for his childhood idol, 90s era Black country music star JoJo Lane, who's being inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. But the concert is in Arcadia, Arkansas, the small hometown he swore he'd never see again. Going back means facing a painful past of abuse and neglect. It also means facing JoJo's daughter, August Lane, the woman who wrote the lyrics he's always claimed as his own. August also hates that song, but she hates Luke Randall even more. When he shows up 10 years too late to apologize for his betrayal, she isn't interested in making amends. Instead, she threatens to expose his lies unless he co-writes a new song with her and performs it at the concert, something she hopes will launch her out of her mother's shadow and into a songwriting career of her own. Desperate to keep his secret, Luke agrees but put on the rogue performance despite the risk of losing his shot at a new record deal. That sounds really cute. More romance. She also wrote The Art of Scandal, which I really, really, really enjoyed. Like, very much. Next, y'all, when I tell you I am so excited about this book, it comes out February 4th. I keep seeing this book cover everywhere and I'm so obsessed. This is Junie by Erin Crosby Eckstein. 16 years old and enslaved since she was born, Junie has spent her life on Bellarine plantation in Alabama, cooking and cleaning alongside her family, tending to the white master's daughter, Violet. Her daydreams are filled with poetry and faraway worlds, while she spends her nights secretly roaming through the forest, consumed with grief after the sudden death of her older sister, Minnie. When wealthy guests arrive from New Orleans, hinting at marriage for Violet and upending Junie's life, she commits a desperate act, one that rouses Minnie's spirit from the grave, tethered to this world unless Junie can free her. She enlists the aid of Caleb, the guest coachman, and their friendship soon becomes something more. Yet a long-held truths begin to crumble. She realizes Bellarine is harboring dark and horrifying secrets that can no longer be ignored. With time ticking down, Junie begins to push against the harsh current that has controlled her entire life. As she grapples with an increasingly unfamiliar world in which she has little control, she is forced to ask herself, when we choose love and liberation, what must we leave behind? I think it's going to be one of my favorites of the year. I'm really excited to read this one. That cover. Okay. Another one that I know is going to scalp me. You guys know how I feel about Daniel Black. I haven't read his entire backlist, but I have read a lot of books by Daniel Black. And this is a continuation of Don't Cry for Me. So Don't Cry for Me was a letter from a father to his son about his life and why he chose to be the type of parent that he was. Isaac is at a crossroads in his young life. Growing up in Missouri, the son of a hard-driving father, he was conditioned to suppress his artistic pursuits and physical desires, notions that didn't align with the traditional view of masculinity. But now, in late 80s Chicago, Isaac has finally carved out a life of his own. He is sensitive and tender-hearted and has built up the courage to seek out a community. Yet, just as he begins to embrace who he is, two social catalysts, the AIDS crisis and Rodney King's attack, collectively extinguish his hard-earned joy. At a therapist's encouragement, Isaac begins to write down his story. In the process, he taps into a creative energy that will send him on a journey back to his family, his ancestral home in Arkansas, and the inherited trauma of the nation's dark past. But a surprise discovery will either unlock the truth he's seeking or threaten to derail the life he's fought hard to claim. This comes out January 14th. I probably will be reading it right when it comes out. Like right as it comes out, I'll be reading it. I cannot wait. Don't Cry for Me is a phenomenal book. Like, so good. Last but certainly not least, we have The Queen's Spade. This is by Sarah Raleigh. So it says, a young lady can take only so many injuries before humiliation and insult forge a vow of revenge. The year is 1862, and murderous desires are simmering. In England, 19-year-old Sarah Bonetta Forbes, Sally, once princess of the Egbato clan, desires one thing above all else: revenge against the British crown and its system of colonial humanitarianism, which stole her dignity and transformed her into royal property. From military men to political leaders, she's vowed to ruin all who've had a hand in her afflictions. The top of her list, her godmother, Britain's mighty monarch, Queen Victoria herself. I can't wait to read that. I read another book this year about Sarah Bonetta Forbes that was very, very interesting. I believe it was called The Other Princess. I'll put it on the screen somewhere. That was very, very good. So I would love to see this perspective of her in all this rage. It comes out in January. Cannot wait. And that is it. I will probably do a part 2 of this. There are so many things that are coming out in 2025. Let me know if there's anything on the list that I missed. And leave a yellow book emoji in the, I was gonna say I did this because I'm thinking about her yellow jacket, but anyway, leave a yellow book emoji. I think there's a yellow book. If there isn't, leave a book emoji. if you made it this far in the video. If no one has told you today, you are kind, you are smart, you are important, if to no one else, to me. Bye, friends.